Piker, and this is the Hasanabi broadcast coming to you live from home territory, home turf. It kind of feels like there is no home at this point. For me, home is where you make it type shit. But California, Los Angeles, folks, we are live. We are alive. And I hope everyone's having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. I hope everyone's gotten their Hasanabi Piker disavows out of the way. Quick eye update. It's actually looking pretty good. Okay, I gotta show you this because all right, this dog is so tired. She just got back from the park and she's just sitting there panting. Okay. Oh my lord. Okay. Anyway, we're live. iPuff is good. We're alive, and I hope everyone's having a fantastic one. I certainly am. I'm going to tell you all about it. This is part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news. But before I get into that, of course, it is 73 degrees, high UV radiation in sunny California, Los Angeles. It is Sunday, May 31st, 2026 is Sunday. Fun day. It's Sunday, super special, super secret stream day. I wasn't supposed to stream today, but I decided why not, considering that we have some elections coming up. But yeah, this is a part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news. We're coming to you live from stolen Tongva territory. In any case, folks, say Nixon 5. I will not be saying such things. I will not be speaking out against the GOAT, the king. I'll be talking about that in a second, though. Yeah, so yesterday I ended the broadcast. You said no stream Sunday, like a bonus stream? Yeah, it is a bonus stream. This is the bonus Jonas. I'm the bonus Jonas. This is the bonus stream. You already know what's up. So, folks, let's get it twisted. Let's get it started. There's a lot to talk about, considering that the primaries are upon us. And, you're pretty low IQ. Nice. Great start to the Sunday. But yeah, what did I do last night? Is a question that many might be asking because this is a part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news. Well, let me tell you what I did. I ended the broadcast. I'm in New Jersey. I shifted the flights back because I was like, we got to get out of here. We got to come back early. We got to come back early. And so once I swapped the flights, I sat down. I got me some Wawa. And I sat down and I watched greatness happen. Now, a lot of you probably are familiar with this man. His name is Victor Wembanyama. But we know him as Wembanyama. That's right. I watched greatness take place last night. Yeah. From one champagne socialist to the next, you already know Victor Wembanyama. He went out there and he did the damn thing. The people's MVP. SGA was taken out last night. Spurs defeat Thunder in Game 7, set to face Knicks in the NBA Finals. Now, what's really interesting about this, of course, is that your boy's going to go see Wembanyama inside of Madison Square Garden. Just so you understand, I will be there. I will be there. Yeah. Secret announcement. Netanyahu down. This was incredible. Look at this. Look. Victor Wembanyama. Obviously, there's like some rivalry between Holmgren, Netanyahu, and Wembanyama. There's been a rivalry since their youth days, right? Where seemingly that Chetler stole the title from Wembyama, and he basically had this resentment, his vendetta since those early days. Has been a rivalry. It's not a heated one, okay? Wembenyama over Chung Kai Chet. Yeah. And we got to watch that last night. I didn't realize that Frenchmen can be so hateful. I'll be honest. Like, I think Wemby is genuinely redefining our understanding of France, the country, and French people in general, because not only is he an alien, not only is he a fantastic player, but he's a little bit of a demonic entity, okay? Because the way that he was operating up and down that court, I mean, god damn, dude. What the fuck? I mean, look. He very clearly got in Holmgren's head. Look at the way he was performing last night. Dom 2K says, and this is from May 18th. He says, I understand Chet won a hoop, but unfortunately he's going to mentally have to participate in whatever this is Wemby got going on with him. And it's not even there. It's not even just that, but it's also the fact that I saw Chet Holmgren miss 2 back-to-back free throw shots. When you do that, there's something else going on, right? Because these guys are professional athletes, top of the game. Like, you got the yips. If you miss 2 back-to-back free throw shots, there is something going on inside of your brain, okay? Look at him passing it off. He's like, no, don't give it to me. I don't want it. Let me reestablish. Oh no. Oh, goddamn. Yeah, it's a home game. I don't know what the hell happened. Except for Shaq, buddy, the NBA has changed dramatically since the Shaq days. We're talking about 2 tall, lanky guys who can shoot, you know? It's the opposite of Shaq. Holmgren and Wemby are playing a very different sport than what Shaq was doing, okay? In any case, it was a delight to watch. And I will say this, SGA is definitely one of the best players in the league. I mean, it's not even a fucking, I don't think it's a controversial take at all. People will yell at me. I think it's more annoying that he's such a flop merchant considering how insanely good he is. And it's fucking annoying. It's probably even more annoying that he's so goddamn good. And dude, his like long range contested 2-pointers are genuinely insane. They are not normal. Like, we're talking, okay, this is going to piss off a lot of people. Look, they lost already, so I can be honest, okay? They lost already. His mid-range is insane, and maybe even Kobe territory. I said it. I know this is going to frustrate people. I know a lot of people are going to get mad and say, how dare you say such a thing? But it is literally, we're talking Kobe territory for sure. Because last night, when he went on that, like, what, fucking 15-point run, and almost changed the game. I think it was in the second, it might have been in the second quarter. Like, that, watching that take place, I was like, well, obviously, yeah, 15-point run. I was like, this is insane. He's unfucking stoppable. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just, I'm being honest. It's not like I'm a Thunder fan in any way, shape, or form, but straight up, his mid-range game, contested mid-range game, in spite of the flop merchant allegations, which are objectively true, are what truly make him an unstoppable force. Okay? Why are you betraying the revolution? Dude, come on. Aren't you a suit guy? Let's rock it. Man, it's a Sunday and I just traveled. Give me a fucking break. Sometimes it's going to be casual, okay? This is a secret special stream. But yeah, the reason why I'm saying Wemby is an alien but also a demonic entity is also partially because of this. Wemby to Carter Bryant, after he trucked SGA, I'm proud of you. This is beast mode. This is beast mode. Look at his lips. He basically spelled it out for him. He's like, no, I want you to hear this. Your tweet was crazy. Yeah. This dude, Wemby, got Reddit, Genshin, an anime fan, communist, K-pop Twitter, e-girl Twitter, and all of San Antonio behind him, bro. He finna have the greatest PR of all time. It's true. It's true. He does. He is so multifaceted. This also drew a lot of ire from, like, the politics Twitter guys, who also are big sports guys. And it's one of the funniest things you can do when I saw a bunch of tweets being like, oh, Hasan, you don't fucking give a shit about basketball. Why are you even tweeting about this? Shut the fuck up. Get back to, tweeting about politics. And I was like, what are you, trying to gatekeep the fucking NBA? Like, what is, I'm sorry. Like, this is the thing. Like, this is the most, like, yeah, I'm a fucking LARPer. I have no team loyalty. I only like certain players, and I dick ride them into oblivion. Back in the day, it was LeBron. It still is LeBron, but also now is Wemby as well. I'm shameless about it. I am shameless about it. I'm sorry that I don't have a fucking altar for an individual team, and also, talk about how many failures I've sat through. You know what I mean? As though that, like, gives you any more legitimacy. I'm watching a sport and I like it. Okay. You can't gatekeep the NBA finals, okay? I'm sorry. It's a thing you cannot gatekeep. This is not to be fair, you're a bandwagon fan. Yes. No, I admit it. That's the difference. I'm the guy who will always say it. I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit. If you bandwagon the Knicks, I'm going to remember this moment. No, this is a conflict of interest for me because obviously Mamdanistan is in my heart, and obviously Will is a huge Knicks fan. I, on the other hand, do love Wemby, so it's a tough one. It's going to be a tough one, No matter who wins, we all win, I guess. I like I said, I can enjoy things, and also it doesn't matter. Yeah, another Talarico versus Mamdani. Woke is back. Wemby Mania in full force. Greg Kazar, bro. Why did you post this, Greg? Why did you post this, my man? This is not good. This is major aura loss for you. Whatever aura you picked up by standing in the presence of greatness, you kind of lost with this disparity, dude. That's crazy. Wemby's like, this is my son. Oh, Jesus. He's not. He's 5'7". He's half you motherfuckers are his height. Anyway. Yeah, don't talk to me or my son ever again. Yeah, but it was very funny that people don't take this kind of stuff and go, oh, wow, look, everyone else is enjoying this as well. And instead, they'll be like, I fucking hate that Hasan is tweeting about this. It's like, all right, dude, fucking calm down. Like, no more saying you're tired if you're not going to take days off. Why? I can do both. Get you a man who can do both. I can both say I'm tired and also simultaneously keep streaming and not take a break because, well, this is going to be a short stream today regardless because we have, I have the podcast. What's your favorite Yakuza game? It's 0. That's my favorite. I think it's the most, like, fully fleshed out. It's the most compact Yakuza game ever made. Probably the normie take there, but I am a normie after all. Okay, so Anyway, yeah, it's exciting. It's great. It's great watching good basketball. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Chet Holmgren became the first player NBA playoff history to attempt 2 or less shots while playing over 30 minutes in Game 7. Holmgren did not attempt a single shot for the final 31 minutes he logged. He had the yips, and you saw it. And like they could have won. I feel like they genuinely could have won. There were many moments where they were about to turn it around, you know? Every time they went on a run and made up for like a 10-point disparity, there would be a turnover. There would be like a pivotal turnover or the block, the famous Cornette block, the legendary Cornette block that changed the tide of history. But there were a lot of instances like that where they would go on a huge run over and over and over again, and they just did not have what it took to push them across the finish line. It's very interesting seeing that. But yeah, that block was stupid. Anyway, let's watch this clip as well.
Got one more thing to say. He's too humble to say it, but this is the MVP right here. MVP of the league. I'm going to say it for him because he won't say it.
Hey,
that's all I got.
I heard you talking. I heard you talking too much. I'ma handle that smoke when I get back. How's you gangster, but you scared of danger. I know I see hoe in your little bitty bitch ass. I heard you sneak this way too much. I heard you loud and ain't on nothing. I even heard about you being so damn scared when you not around niggas with guns. Y'all need rats like a little out the lotto. Green rich by chain, got me pouring no water. All I respect if it's needed, I squabble. I find out your fake, you be gone by tomorrow.
A loser for OKC is a win for basketball. I feel okay. I need to be a little bit fair and balanced now that they lost, because it's hard to be fair and balanced while they're winning because it's so disrespectful. You don't want the next meta for the youth to be flopping. Okay. Like if Steph Curry changed basketball for the worse because of his 3-point shots, which I don't care. I feel like that's unk talk. SGA is going to change basketball for the youth to be constantly flopping. However, listen, Lou Dort was a war criminal compared to SGA. Cold take. Big Rago 2002. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Oklahoma City doesn't have much. Okay. Oklahoma City, as a matter of fact, has nothing. So letting them have something, anything, is good. What they have is a wonderful team. Yes, they sometimes play like basketball terrorists. Okay, straight up. Yes, sometimes very Israel style. They're playing to the referees. Okay. Yes, Oklahoma, tiny nation, size of New Jersey or size of Israel. It's true. But they got tornadoes, and they got a fucking deep lineup, a deep bench of reliable talent. Except for when they become unreliable. So yeah. That's all I got. I'm a shameless bandwagoner. I don't even support teams. I support players. I support the stories of players that I like, and usually the reason why I like them is obviously they play phenomenal basketball often, like LeBron, but also what they do off the court is what I like. And their political takes and their worldview is something that I like. I mean, with LeBron, one of the things that always made me love LeBron was the fact that he funded a school. When given the opportunity to fund a charter school, he was like, no, I'm going to fund the public school. Like, that was huge for me. That's when I totally fell in love with LeBron, aside from the fact that he was the GOAT and been the GOAT. And the same with Wemby. Did you see Dua Lipa got married? Okay, we're putting a blockade on news stories that upset me. Do we have a blast off meme? That was 20 years ago. Let it go. He's not the same. Shut up. Don't do this. This is agenda. This is just straight up agenda. Yeah, I mean, this is literally, I'm sorry, this is what the IDF does, by the way. The fact that this was not a flagrant is also, once again, very Israel coded. I saw this happen. That's IDF. That's IDF. That's Israel occupying force. I mean, Caruso is a militant for the Israeli occupying forces. That's crazy. Not a flagrant, by the way. And you know if he got back up and pushed him, he would have eaten an ejection. Yeah, they're calling it Krav Maga. Okay? They're calling it Krav Maga. If it was SGA flagrant, no. If it was SGA, ejection. Yeah. Krav Maga, maybe, if you want to call it that. He's bracing for both of their fall, no? Are you kidding me? First of all, this is not how this started, okay? This is a wide open. He was literally wide open. Caruso comes up from behind him, catches up. Instead of even attempting a block, okay, he just straight up pulls him down. That's insane. It's the most obvious flagrant of all time. Yeah. He didn't just wrap his arm around him as he was attempting to go for the ball. He just straight up two-handed pulled him down, dude. And he was bracing for it too. He like put his back on him because he knew that a foul was coming, but he wanted to at least get the attempt. He wanted to make it a 3-point situation. Anyway. Like, come on, dude. Anyway, yeah, that was crazy, but it doesn't matter. Analyze UCL soccer final fast. I have no... What? I don't have any analysis for that. Let's get started. Let's get it twisted. Watch the poster on... Oh, yeah. You got the poster on chat? If you send it to me. Arsenal played haram ball and got what they deserve. Yeah, that was a big Zoran L, let's be real. Anyway, we blasted off. Like I said, super short, secret short, special Sunday stream. You already know what's up. You're in here already, so you're aware of it. Okay? Socialist arrives. Dun, dun, dun. Between this, from Caruso and Hardenstein grabbing Castle's dreads, kind of feels like a basketball team from Oklahoma is unsurprisingly racist and not being penalized. Okay, that's crazy because you're pointing to the two white guys, but Oklahoma also has, like, you know, Oklahoma's still a very black team. Like, that's not... we're going a little too crazy with the slander, it feels. It seems. Oh, he's hard. Oh. Hardenstein is mixed? Okay. True. Forgot. My mistake. What is this? What did you send me? Well, Nithya, why is about a TV hit from 20 years ago? Here she is hanging out a week ago with a pro-Hamas anti-Semite who believes we deserve 9/11. Do you agree with your pal, Sam Piker? Did you celebrate 9/11 too, Nithya? Oh, God, I don't give a fuck about Spencer Pratt, bro. Why are you even giving this? Why are you giving this any attention whatsoever? Who gives a fuck? Anyway, all right, we're blasting off, folks. We're blasting off. Why the fuck are you online? Go to sleep. I slept all night, and then I slept on the flight. I slept enough. It's time to be awake. Okay, we'll do the Lego crime today, because this story is unironically huge. Okay? It is unironically huge. I know. Lego scandal is getting extremely dangerous and scary. Normally, I would say this is silly. Why the fuck are we covering it? But it's actually become like a major story. I feel like it could even reach like national news story significance because of how incredible it is, how vicious the police have been, how corrupt they've behaved. It's got it all. It's got Legos, it's got victims, it's got moneyed interest, and there's corruption. Yes, by the way, congratulations to Dua Lipa. Congratulations to Dua Lipa. She got married today, officially, okay? Rub it in. I'm just kidding. Anyway, we're blasting off. Yeah, let's start here. Spurs.
Look at the emotion from WEMBY.
This morning, the sound of victory.
This is what you want to see.
The reigning champion Oklahoma City Thunder are dethroned, and Victor Wembanyama.
The San Antonio
They were also clowning him for crying. Like, that's another thing. Toxic masculinity. I saw some people being like, "Meh, why are you crying? You face zero adversity." It's like, bro, have you ever done anything similar to this? Like, this dude is on the top of the planet, okay? He's what, 15 years old, basically, okay? He's 8'14", size-wise. Incredible shooter on top of everything else. And he just defeated an insane team.
Spurs have done it.
Are headed to the finals. San Antonio came out of the gate on fire. Wembanyama throwing down early.
Wembanyama throws it on his head.
And the Spurs.
Well, there you go. Now we saw the poster.
14.
And the Spurs lead by 14, 7 minutes in.
OKC kept fighting.
Clean look, Bob.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander going on a personal run in the second quarter, cutting the lead to just one.
What allowed OKC to close the gap?
Shai was being Shai.
The Spurs not letting up after the half.
Yeah, what can you say to that? Oof.
Then the block within seconds of each other.
WEMBY here. The last 2 plays.
Julian Champagnie unstoppable, finishing with 20 points, 18 of them coming from beyond the arc.
Gets a 3.
SGA doing everything to keep his team alive, ending off with a stunning
so fucking
35
good.
points, his highest of the series.
He has done everything he can here.
But it wasn't enough to keep the Thunder rolling.
The Spurs are going to the NBA Final.
The final, San Antonio Spurs 111, Oklahoma City Thunder 103. Victor Wembanyama, 22 points, 7 rebounds, named the Irvin Magic Johnson Trophy winner as the Western Conference Finals MVP.
This feeling is, I can't explain it. It's so powerful. We want 4 more, we're not done. Go Spurs, go!
All right, it's a 1999 rematch. Spurs and Knicks, San Antonio back for the first time since 2014. The Knicks, they are well rested, but this young Spurs squad, they're proving age is just a number. Game 1 of the NBA Finals will be Wednesday, June 3rd at 8:30 p.m. right here on ABC, guys.
Cannot wait.
Cannot wait. Well rested for you up until Wednesday night.
Up until Wednesday night.
I don't.
Fox News and all the right-wingers that were at DELANEY have been posting their clips, apparently. This is one of the clips that they posted. Let's take a look at what they posted. Hasan Piker denies ties to Marxist millionaire after subpoena report.
have any personal contact with Roy Singham or any of these other people. I mean, I know some of these people. They're wonderful people in general. They're activists. I don't know anything beyond what is readily available information, but none of it is actually hidden or illegal in any way, shape, or form. Fox News Digital says I have a subpoena, but I've yet to be served one. So I don't even know what's going on. Kind of feels like you guys have more insight into what the federal government's doing than I do, and I'm supposed to be subpoenaed.
There were clashes again.
Yeah. Bro, out of the whole interview, this is what they clipped. Does the harassment not really bother you? I don't know how you do it. How do I do it? I'm used to it. What do you mean? You just have to. What is this? To find an OFAC administrative subpoena, check your email inbox. I have. I don't understand what this person is saying. Why didn't you stream the rally, by the way? Miss seeing that? Because it was at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Your fans are just upset that those provocateurs is your new reality and hate to see you have to just eat it. Yeah, I don't think people need to baby me in this situation. I think that the interaction in and of itself shows how unserious the hecklers are. Because, like, we're in the middle of a fucking... we're down there in the middle of a protest. And my clear-cut goals are to showcase not only the demands that are being made inside of the facility by the people who are being detained, but also the mistreatment of activists outside of the facility who are exercising their First Amendment rights. And that's pretty clear. Like, that's why I go to these protests. I want to show a side that the media, unfortunately, often forgets to cover and often forgets to show. And the reality is that if it's a relatively smaller protest, like with some activist organizations on the ground, as opposed to like a massive one, you know, like the ICE out of LA protests that we've attended, there is more noise coming from the opportunists that storm these areas, right? More noise that comes from the opportunists that storm the areas to demonstrate at the behest of ICE. And then also people who are just straight up unserious, right? At the end of the day, I went there, no security. I mean, the people that were around us were like Adam Hamawi's a team. We didn't have any security, which was really interesting because a lot of the charlatans, though, they had their own security. Some of them were fucking armed, as a matter of fact. But March was right about you saying frame one of your stream plans was kind of a dumb idea. No, those guys were there the whole day. Those guys were there from the start. From what I understand, they were always there. They were there because they wanted to cut content. The Proud Boys were there too, but they had left by the time we got there. But look, here's the thing. We are standing outside of a concentration camp, where people inside of that concentration camp are on like day 8, now day 9 of a hunger strike, right? And people that have been trying to elevate their voices of those who are unjustly detained inside of the concentration camp are being tear gassed every night, being brutalized every night. If you go there with the express purpose of farming clout by saying you love Donald Trump, or you love, or, you know, to support ICE, to support the Trump administration's processes, and you have no care or consideration for the people inside of that facility who are just human beings, right? If you don't see them as human beings, you're less than an animal. It's repugnant behavior. But there's, I think, a deeper layer of hell that is worthy for those who go there with no interest whatsoever. Like people who don't even go there to be pro-ICE, and people who don't even go there to, people who don't go there to protest against ICE, but not even go there for some right-wing purpose, but exclusively to be a nuisance streamer. Genuinely the lowest of the low, true parasitic behavior. The person who said I'm IRLing at the concentration camp was unserious and disgusting clip farmers, basically. Yeah, people who were like, fuck Dan Clancy, people who were like, oh, you know, you shot your dog, all this stuff. Like, these people are deranged. They're just deranged, objectively. And they look deranged. They don't look good in this interaction. It doesn't end up looking good for them when they do this kind of thing. So just simply saying, like, which one of us looks normal in this process is usually fairly effective in denying a clip. I don't really, I mean, I assume that that's going to happen no matter what, right? But what was shocking to me was like the actual people. What was shocking to me was the people who were like, you love the Democratic Party, you love the Zionist Democratic Party, fuck you, you love Israel's genocide. Like, dog, time and place, man. Time and motherfucking place. Like, it was crazy that the ultras were like, hey, I see a bunch of fascists that are trying to, a bunch of fascist opportunists who are trying to make a mockery of the brave. You mean the singular person? There was like a couple that were yelling. To be fair, isn't what you're describing the same as neutral journalists showing up, though? Well, journalists have a duty to cover what's going on the ground. It's actually not bad to have it's actually not bad to have journalists there, because the entire point of demonstrating outside of this facility is to bring awareness to the demands being made by those inside of the facility. It's to have your voice be heard by those inside the facility, so they understand that there's solidarity, that they're not alone, that they shouldn't be scared in spite of the conditions that they're facing. And regular mainstream outlets being there, like, you know, liberal or even right-wing outlets and mainstream outlets in general being there, is not necessarily a bad thing, because it elevates the salience of this issue, right? And a lot of independent reporters also go there to, you know, cut footage in a similar vein. Sometimes that footage gets circulated through mainstream outlets, right? That kind of stuff is normal. What I'm talking about is people that are not there to showcase the conditions inside, or to express to express a political position at all. People that are just simply there to try to fire off a clip and gain clout off of it, right? People who are there to antagonize the protesters, to try to antagonize them, to engage them physically, knowing full well that the police has their back. Cam Higby is a great example of this, right? He's the PragerU guy who was like a TikTok right-winger, and then he went to Israel. I mean, he's basically an asset for the state at that point, the Israeli state. He was there the night prior of our arrival. He was there and antagonizing the protesters that were outside of the DELANEY facility, and even would roll up to them and pepper spray them. Like, he wasn't just antagonizing the protesters, he was also assaulting them. And he had an armed security person with him. An armed security person with him. What we assume is a, you know, civilian security officer, right? He had a security guard with a gun when he was doing that, when he was assaulting people. And then they ran into the facility. They ran into the ICE facility. So they're getting protection from the federal government to directly antagonize and even assault the good, kind, empathetic people who are out there trying to raise awareness and bring attention to the plight of their neighbors being unjustly detained inside of this for-profit prison facility, right? This for-profit immigrant detention facility. The closest analog I can think of is similar to that. What's that? The Faz Baby kick streamer, the one who would just like walk up with his big guards and just like, you know, shoulder check people, and then his security guards would come in. Jack Doherty, yeah. Cam Higbee is basically doing what Jack Doherty did, but as a right-wing agitator. Yeah. When you do that, you're just Jack Doherty. You go up to people and you antagonize them deliberately while they're in the process of doing something, while they're in the process of like protesting, knowing full well that the federal government, with guns, with body armor, with chemical weapons that they have deployed on the people that you're attacking, are going to protect you. You know? Offering him additional protection. It's just Israel tactics. Oh, for sure. For sure. No, this is straight up Israel behavior. Straight up. It's additionally shameful because this is taking place in New Jersey, which is supposed to be a sanctuary state. But of course, New Jersey voted for a, you know, CIA governor. And when you vote for a Fed, you get these kinds of Fed-coded behaviors from Mickey Sherrill. Mickey Sherrill herself is not CIA, but she's besties with Abigail Spanberger, who is. She was in the Navy. But yeah. So it was, you know, it was a shameful experience to be a part of, to see what the government is doing. We don't have any real justice, unfortunately. shameful as far as, yes, I'm aware of the Lego drama. I'm gonna fucking, oh my God, I'm gonna watch the Lego drama. Guys, it's right here, okay? Dude, they're literally putting your neighbors in concentration camps and starving them and feeding them moldy food, okay? Can we fucking lock in before we start talking about the Lego drama? God damn, dude. Yes, the Lego situation is crazy. I'm aware of it, okay? I'm gonna cover it. But just, can we please? Oh my God. Why isn't there a single governor who would even consider using their resources to protect protesters? They lie and they claim that they're doing this to protect the protesters, but they're not. Yeah, I should do Moist Critical style videos and be like, the human trafficking situation in New Jersey is crazy, so that people can fucking lock in for once. Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, the Gestapo situation is crazy. Or better yet, we got to get Moist to cover the Gestapo situation being crazy so people actually, so the coworkers actually fucking focus on it. Anyway, I know the Lego situation is crazy. We're going to cover it. I know, it's an interesting story. Let's start here, though.
Between protesters and law enforcement outside of an immigration detention center in Newark, New Jersey. NBC's Valerie Castro is on the scene with the latest. Valerie, good morning.
Willie, good morning. We are now entering day 10 of these protests here outside DELANEY Hall in New Jersey. And overnight, things heating up once again between protesters and law enforcement. The crowd last night was met by state police carrying riot shields and deploying tear gas after protesters attempted to push over metal barricades that had been set up to create protest zones. Beginning at midnight, Newark's mayor announced a curfew for the area that will be in effect from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. going forward. DHS posting that the area was secured with the help of local law enforcement. This all comes after intense clashes Friday night, and earlier that day, New Jersey State Police stepped in at the direction of New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill to handle the situation while federal agents withdrew. The governor said she had hoped it would help avoid escalation, but things turned chaotic when police say protesters did not heed orders to disperse and tear gas was deployed. So far, at least a dozen people have been arrested as a result of these demonstrations. The protests were sparked by reports of a hunger strike inside the facility. Detainees there complaining of inhumane living conditions and spoiled food. Governor Mikey Sherrill says she has requested access to the facility so she can see those conditions for herself, but she says she has been repeatedly denied. She's also calling for the facility to be shut down altogether. Willie?
Valerie Castro in Newark, New Jersey this morning. Valerie, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you...
Anyway, so the point of sending in the state police is to provide an incident where protesters are in clashes with local cops as a way to marginalize them away from the Democratic Party base. This is a direct attempt to aid Trump. Yeah. Because if it's local police directed by the governor, the blue governor, all of a sudden Trump can wash his hands over the incident. And they'll turn around and they'll say, oh, well, we're doing this because we don't want Trump to brutalize the protesters. It's like, okay, but you're brutalizing them. Like, what you're doing is basically taking responsibility over the brutalization yourself. There's literally no reason for you to do this, okay? There's no reason for you to do that. If you are the governor of a blue state, if you're actually the governor of a blue state, use your police force to protect, if you're going to deploy them, to protect the protesters. Fox told me they're eating gourmet meals in the detention center but won't turn a camera on to prove it. Of course they're not eating gourmet meals in the detention facility. The detention facility is a for-profit prison, which is, I mean, American prisons are already devastating, right? American prisons are already immoral. There's a reason why other countries like Norway, for example, have a non-extradition policy to the United States of America, because they consider the American carceral system to be so inhumane that they will never send their prisoners to the United States of America because they feel like it's a human rights violation. Okay? Now, that's just the American carceral structure across the board. When you get to the for-profit element of it all, the for-profit prison system is even worse because they are always cutting corners. They're, for example, I'll give you one common example that's happening inside of this this immigrant detention facility, right? This concentration camp. They have one doctor for the entire facility. They could hire more, and they should hire more, but doctors are costly. And if you don't actually treat human beings that you are locking away as real human beings, then you don't need to offer them the necessary medical attention. Geo and CoreCivic are the two major for-profit prison companies, right? They are the ones who write the laws. They are the ones who literally write the laws to ensure that there are still mouths being fed, because there are beds that have to be filled inside of their facility. So they write the laws to make sure that there is a more draconian system in place so they can continue making money. Geo Group very famously had an investors call right after Donald Trump got elected. If you recall, they talked about how Trump was going to be a major boon for them because Trump was going to do mass deportations. And mass deportations require concentration camps. That means they would fill their facilities up. They would be able to justify getting billion-dollar contracts. That facilities cost to the federal government, as Adam Hamawi, who's running for Congress right now, explained yesterday, is $10 million a day, $15 billion a year. Hiccups, I don't know what's going on. I'm not experiencing it. I'm not seeing it on my end. So it's terrifying. It's totally morally repugnant. It's unbelievably unjust, but that's America. So yeah, I'll always respect anybody that puts their body on the line to go out and address this inhumanity, that goes out there, stands outside of a facility like this to demonstrate, to try to offer a little bit more coverage to the conditions inside of the facility when these for-profit prisons are actively trying to ensure no one gets to see what's going on inside. That's also part of the reason why I have no respect and straight up disdain for those who go down there for their own clout farming purposes. It's disgusting. Dude, go be a nuisance streamer elsewhere. You have the entire country to be a nuisance streamer in, and there are so many other places where people do it. Like, don't do it here. Don't fucking do it here, man. That's how is that even possible? Like, I just I actually don't understand it.
Is calling for de-escalation after days of demonstrations outside Delaney Hall, an ICE detention center in Newark. The governor ordered state police to take over operations outside the facility as pro and anti-ICE groups continued to gather Saturday. The move comes after clashes between protesters and police, who established a security perimeter around the area. The governor saying she does not want to give ICE a reason to expand its operations in New Jersey.
I refuse to let that happen in New Jersey. I will not give ICE a pretext.
Yeah, I won't give ICE a pretext. So I'm gonna ensure that they don't have to do anything because I'm gonna do it myself. That's basically what the meta is here for this blue state and its new blue governor. This is the centrist wing of the Democratic Party, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens. I didn't want you to fight me, so I just punched myself in the face, you know? It's great.
To expand operations at Delaney Hall or across our state. I will not put lives at risk.
The protests have been underway since May 22nd. Activists and Democratic leaders allege the roughly 300 people detained are living in poor conditions and aren't being properly fed.
I support democracy and I support the freedom to speak, the freedom to gather, the freedom to live and without having to worry that you're going to get kidnapped off the street by somebody in a mask and a uniform.
On Saturday, police stood between opposing groups of demonstrators outside the detention center.
The message here is that we love and we respect immigrants who come here and show love and patriotism towards the country. But if you want to immigrate here, there's a right way to do it.
The Department of Homeland Security is pushing back on claims about conditions inside the facility and denying reports that detainees have launched a hunger strike.
Yeah, except they're not, because Tom Homan did openly admit that they are, and he said that he would actually force feed them with tubes. So I don't know why ABC 7 Chicago is covering what the state is saying as though it's God's honest truth. And they even had that like classic agitator wearing a Persians for Trump shirt too. He went to the protest to be in support of ICE. And it's one of these things that like it's one of those takes that is commonplace and is disgusting, honestly. When they're like, oh, why don't these guys come in the right way? First of all, they are. Okay? Half of the people that are detained by ICE are people actually seeking asylum. They have court dates. ICE actually knows where they are. They go to their homes to grab them, or they go to the court dates to grab them, as a matter of fact. These people are not illegal. They're even grabbing American citizens at times too, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like all of the non-citizens that ICE grabs. The overwhelming majority, well, first of all of them, every single one of them that is grabbed off the streets is not like a criminal in any way, shape, or form. They have a civil case with the federal government to get their paperwork. So they're waiting. They're in the process of waiting out their paperwork so they can, you know, work. Many of them also have TPS, temporary protected status, that is revoked on a moment's notice like this in an effort for the administration to justify higher numbers of mass deportations. They're grabbing people with green cards. They're grabbing people who are legal permanent residents for their speech. This is not a normal process at all. And the way that the administration is trying to justify it is totally ridiculous. It's bullshit. Okay? I'm not even doing some like, oh, no human is illegal style commentary here. I believe that. I think it's ridiculous to be like, oh, these are illegal human beings. Fucking stupid. But that's not even the argument that I'm making here. Like, most people don't understand how this process works. They don't get it at all. They don't understand that this is an unbelievably costly process, and it could be expeditious, and it could be cheaper for the government, and it could be better for our taxable revenue too. Okay? The only reason why there is this this lopsided, totally broken processing system in this country is so that we can keep these guys in legal limbo. And when right-wingers come in, we can just show, the right-wingers can just show how ruthless they are to offer red meat to the base, because they're not going to fix your fucking cost of living issues. This administration certainly hasn't done that. As a matter of fact, they've made it worse. But as long as they keep people occupied with this senseless cruelty by cordoning off and kidnapping and possibly deporting American workers that have been working on U.S. soil for decades at a time, with the hopes that one day this immigration system will finally do the right thing and offer them the clearance and the proper paperwork and maybe even naturalize them, right? While they're doing it the right way, the administration is the one that's saying there is no right way to do this. Yeah, it's an ethnic cleansing campaign. People are explicitly being hunted for their language and skin color to keep America white. Yeah, the thing is, that's the goal, that's the purpose, but they're not fully realizing that either. Just so we're clear, because if they were doing that, they would be going to the fucking factories, which they did initially, or the farms, which they did initially, or the hospitality industry, which they did initially, and they backed away from that. The reason why they backed away from that is because they recognized fairly early on that, yes, undocumented immigrants or non-citizens in general who have the proper paperwork that normally would still be considered deportable because they're black and brown are actually the backbone of key sectors that keep this entire process going, and that's necessary labor. So they're just trying to keep up this environment. That's why I say it's red meat for the base. It's not to deny the white nativist underlying ideology here. It's not to say that this isn't white supremacist. It absolutely is. But just make no mistake. The ultimate purpose as to why they're doing any kind of mass deportations is to keep their base satisfied, to tap into their primal instinct after years and years of farming this outrage and anger and hatred and making it seem like the non-citizens that live amongst us are the actual enemies of America and not just regular people, right? Not just overexploited regular people, as a matter of fact. But yeah, it's incredibly cruel. And Democrats have absolutely participated in this process. They voted for the Lake and Riley Act. They voted to fund ICE further and further when they were in office, when they were in charge. And some of them even continue to do so while Trump is president, right? It's disgusting. And I want to change that. I want to change that system. And part of that, aside from demonstrations, aside from doing everything you can to change this dynamic, part of that also revolves around getting people elected who will make a big fuss. Because when you're a congressperson, you have a lot of power. You can go and look at these facilities, for example. When you're a congressperson, you can also demand, you can also caucus with other members of Congress and demand to reduce the expenditure to ICE, reduce the amount of money going to ICE, demand accountability for ICE. This is how you're supposed to do it. I know it sounds ridiculous. You're like, whoa, there's no guarantee. And the Democrats themselves are doing this as well, which is true. And that's what I'm trying to fucking change. All right? Not a one-stop shop. Not a silver bullet. You don't just vote for the right Democrats and magically everything is solved. That's not how this goes. Okay? But every bit helps.
Of Homeland Security is pushing back on claims about conditions inside the facility.
Anyway, here is the anti-ICE chaos erupts as governor points blame to national extremist groups.
Welcome back. Anti-ICE protesters raging out of control, tensions boiling over outside the New Jersey detention center.
The story is not the far-left activists continuing to rage at ICE in New Jersey. The story is, the real story is the horrifying conditions inside of this facility, okay? And the governor acting as though she's powerless to put a stop to it and using what power she does have to basically work alongside the MAGA movement, alongside the Trump administration, because these are state troopers in anti-riot gear, on horseback. These are state troopers that are brutalizing New Jerseyans, okay? And also Associated Press reporters and numerous other people. I'm begging you, I'm in so much pain. Injured Associated Press photographer Angelina Katsanis yells at New Jersey State Police as they refuse to let her go to hospital for a knee injury she got covering anti-ICE protests. This attack on journalists went on for 4 minutes. They're doing Israel shit. They're doing Israeli occupying force shit, okay? It's disgusting.
Democratic Governor Mikey Sherrill backs their cause and refuses to point blame. Watch.
New Jersey law enforcement established a peaceful, protected protest zone in the area outside Delaney Hall. We know that people from outside the state have been interfering in the protests and escalating them. National extremist groups have become involved in the protests here today. To the people coming from out of state to create chaos and dangerous situations, you should not be here. You know, I don't recall seeing any violence from protesters. I'd have to look back.
Our next guest served as the director of removals for ICE in New York State. Tom Feely joins us now. Tom, Governor Sherrill there is literally admitting the loud part out loud in saying that these outside groups are now coming, but they're coming because they're being paid in many cases to support the simply no deportations of any kind, not even for criminal illegal aliens. Do you think that this is all on her?
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Griff. Yeah, somebody might want to get the governor a mirror because these elected officials want to go out there and stoke the flames about laws that have been on the books since 1996 and signed by President Clinton. And, you know, then when it gets out of control, which it always does, we've seen this playbook so many times, they want to point fingers at ICE. And, you know, somebody really needs to get her a mirror because her and the mayor up there are responsible for these actions.
Tom, you are the former director of ICE removals in New York State. I want to address the root cause. So these politicians, and it's not just Governor Mikey Sherrill, it's also Governor Senator Cory Booker and Andy Kim and a handful of members of Congress. They are saying that the conditions are so deplorable in there. Talk to me, because I've been inside ICE detention centers. Talk to me about the standards of ICE detention centers.
Like, how can you be, here's what I don't understand, okay? I don't understand how you can be so fucking heartless that you look at the conditions inside of those facilities and you do propaganda for the government that's doing this. Okay? I truly cannot comprehend that. Like, where is your fucking humanity, dude? Where is your goddamn humanity? How do you become this person? How can you be so fucking heartless? How can you be so shameless? I mean, this is no different than Theresienstadt, right? The sanitized concentration camp, the sanitized ghetto that the Nazis utilize. And this one isn't even the sanitized version of it. These guys are just straight up lying at the behest of the government. And it's not just the government, but it's also a for-profit prison. You're lying at the behest of a corporation whose entire job is to make sure that the federal government continues to grab people off the fucking street, regular people, good people with dreams, with hopes, that are playing ball with the federal government with the hopes that one day the government will actually do right by them, right? You're treating them like criminals. You're lying about how they're constantly doing violence and constantly doing crimes and whatnot. And yet, the reality is the exact opposite. It's the federal government that's doing crimes, the federal government that's doing the violence. I don't know. It's really fucked up.
ICE has the highest detention standards in this country. The number one important thing for ICE is the care and safe removal of ICE detainees in our custody. I know all the employees. I know the managers. We have a new ICE director in David Venturella, who's very professional. He's an expert in this area. We take it very seriously. And for these complaints and whatnot to be thrown out there like they're true, I can tell you, having done this for 30 years myself, many of the complaints you see are unfounded. Everything is investigated. ICE is probably the only entity in the United States that does detention that is constantly inspected.
Well, okay. Show the people then. I mean, it's simple, right? If that's the case, then let's get in the facilities. Transparency, right? This is the most transparent administration. It's a lie, guys. It's a fucking lie. The conditions inside of these facilities are heinous, and they also transport some of the immigrants from facility to other places to hide them within the system. on purpose, if there's any like high profile immigrant rights activists, for example, they will literally actively move them around away from this facility on purpose so that even their legal counsel can't find them. It's disgusting. They do it in secret. Guy says ICE is great and all the employees are perfect, then says we have a new ICE director. Wait, why did we need a new director if everything is perfect? Yeah.
Acted by other government organizations, NGO groups. I mean, ICE really is, specifically ERO, they are the experts in detention.
And I want to address one more claim that really, I think, is unfounded, and that is Senator Andy Kim was talking about these detainees are not getting due process. Others have said that, but yet when I talk to my ICE sources, they say every one of these individuals have gotten their day in immigration court, have gotten due process. What say you?
No, they didn't, because immigration court is also a sham. A lot of people think immigration court is a totally separate entity. It's not. It's a part of the federal government. It's actually not. It's not the same as like the rest of the judiciary, which even then we have a lot of partisanship in all of the court systems because of court packing, obviously the Supreme Court being the example that everybody knows. But the immigration court is a part of the federal government. And therefore, all matter of immigration related incidents and the way that these judges actually look at, is a part of the executive branch. So if the executive branch changes, as it has in this situation with Donald Trump, they change their processing methods as well. Okay? So as a part of the administrative apparatus, when the administrative apparatus decides, no, we're not giving anyone approval, it's basically just a rubber stamp deportation order. People think it's a fair process. It's not.
Well, just because you don't like the result of your case doesn't mean you didn't get due process. And I can 100% say, again, having done this for 30 years, every alien gets due process under the current law that was established in 1996.
Tom Feely, former director of ICE removals in New York. Tom, thank you for your insight. It's so important to bring facts.
Yeah, facts. Well, so yeah, Andy Kim went on. He's been going to the facilities. He went on Dana Fash and was asked about the conditions inside, whether they're letting him in there or not. And then also on top of that, they were what do you call it? Asking him about Graham Plattner too. They were trying to do a gotcha on Graham Plattner. They've been working fucking overtime, man. It's crazy. CNN has been working overtime on the anti-Plattner tip. And not only that, but they're also are you okay, man? I saw what happened. Wait, what happened? Yeah. Oh, Dua Lipa got married. Fucking asshole. No, I'm not okay. I'm kidding. Okay. I'm happy for Dua Lipa.
When you did this interview with The Bulwark, you said this, quote, "No one who voted for the Laken-Riley Act should have any role in the future leadership of the Democratic Party in this country. It's disqualifying, just like the Iraq War vote." Now, some of the people that voted for the Laken-Riley Act, Ruben Gallego, Mark Kelly, John Ossoff, Raphael Warnock, Alyssa Slotkin, you think all of those leaders should be disqualified from being the presidential nominee of the Democratic Party on that basis?
Well, they should have to explain at least why they voted for it. It was a terrible vote. And I didn't mean to personalize it, but the reality is that it allowed for deportation without due process. And when Trump came in, we had Democrats voting for Lake and Raleigh. And then you see ICE on the streets, engaged in mass deportation, separating kids from their parents. I guess as a son of immigrants, this is very personal for me. I am tired of a Democratic Party that apologizes for immigrants. I'm tired of a Democratic Party that throws immigrants under the bus.
He has every right to say that, okay? I think a lot of people in the Democratic Party have recognized that factionalism only goes in one direction, or there's only one faction you have to listen to, only one faction that you get your notes from. And that faction is the centrists, the corporate Democrats, the pro-Israel Democrats, right? And now the numbers in the insurgent wing are growing, okay? And there is a real crisis within the party. A party that has always maintained this idea of having a big tent, but never really following through on that concept. And the reason for why they've never followed through on that concept is because they've never had to. They've never been challenged like they are right now. What we demand is that the left flank opposition party, fake opposition party, stop being a fake opposition party, but a real one, okay? It's the ascendant wing of the Democratic Party because it is the wing of the Democratic Party that says no more to corporate sponsorships. It says no more to putting profits over people. Democrats that are frustrated with this reality because, you know, their jobs are going to be threatened, you know, if they're consultants or whatnot, or if their jobs are going to be threatened because they're lobbyists. They hate democracy. That's it. They hate the democratic process. They hate the majority's wishes being enforced.